People like to say the youth don't vote. I think the youth actually do want to vote, but they don't. And so why is that? Well, this guy, okay, Mamadou over here, he realized, you know what? The youth actually do want to vote. Okay? He brought the youth vote from in 2015, it was 8% of the youth voted. In his election, 28% voted. He realized there was a problem and he figured it out. Okay? And so why don't the youth vote? Why don't they want to vote? Well, let's hear it from some youth themselves.
I'm just not that interested in politics in general. There's a lot going on, and there's so many different sides of it, and I just don't want to be wrapped up.
I don't really know a lot. I feel like a lot of people don't, especially my age. I feel like a lot of candidates don't really look towards us. I guess I feel like it's kind of hard to know where we stand.
So, as those people said, they don't feel represented. Okay, politics is complicated. You're not gonna go talk to your buddies about zoning laws. That's just not something you do. But you are gonna complain about housing. Okay, things are too complicated right now. He realized this. He used the fact that he is a young guy himself, and he made himself relatable. He put the focus of his campaign on young people and on affordability in people's lives. And then he also made his messaging extremely clear to understand, extremely easy to talk to other people about. When you look at the biggest reasons young people don't vote, you get some problems like, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have the time, okay? And I mean, fair enough. When you're a student, you don't have 5 hours like a old retired man to go look into every single problem or go watch the news all day because you have other things to do. You have other important things to do. And then you also have reasons like you just don't feel represented, right? Why would I vote for an 80-year-old man when he's going to die in 10 years? Like this guy's going to die in 10 years. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about the citizens of the United States that are young, okay? Because he's not going to be around any longer, you know? And so obviously, the fresh 18-year-old doesn't feel represented by this guy. And then you also have the fact that people who don't have as much money don't really vote. Again, exact same thing. You don't have 5 hours to go watch the news or look into things. You're trying to provide for your family. Same thing. You're voting for two rich 80-year-old men. They don't care about you in your poor, poverty ridden neighborhood. It's not fair to you. When you vote, it doesn't matter. Either way, they don't care about you. So why would you go spend 2 hours in a line to vote when really it doesn't change your life in any way? And this is what Mamdani changed. Looking at what he did before the election, he ran soccer tournaments. The youth loved this was the exact group of people who felt like politicians didn't care about him, about about them. He made them feel like they cared. Okay? Scavenger hunts. That looks fun. I wish that my mayor would do that, but he doesn't do that. Okay? Anyway, this looks like fun. No? Like he made politics exciting. I don't live anywhere near New York, and my friends talked about him. My group of people talked about him, and half of my friends couldn't care less about politics. I'm the only little nerd guy who cares about politics, and my friends asked me questions about this guy. People liked him. The people enjoyed his presence, his energy, everything about him. The people wanted to vote for him. And this is obvious in the numbers. When you look at the youth vote, young women and young black and Latino youth all rallied behind Mamdani and they wanted to vote for him. And I mean, fair enough. Okay. These three demographics here, I'll hide my screen, doesn't really matter, but like you can kind of see everything already. But these three groups loved Mamdani, and it's because these are groups that are underrepresented in politics. The lowest amount of youth was white men voted lower for Mamdani than any other group. And that's because those are the people you tend to see. Okay? I myself am a white man. Okay, I know that I have a lot of representation compared to a lot of other people. And so when you look at Mamdani, you go, oh my God, this guy's the best. Okay, I wish there was more people like him. What if I told you there was another guy kind of like him by the name of Brandon Scott? This guy is the mayor of Baltimore. He grew up in a neighborhood, Park Heights, poverty ridden neighborhood, crime ridden neighborhood. He knows what it's like. He knows what the struggle's like. He knows what living in a poor neighborhood in Baltimore is like. He was a part of an underrepresented group, and he made that clear, and he made the people feel like they mattered. This guy's entire office literally went around entire neighborhoods multiple times to get every single person in the neighborhood's opinion on what they need to change. This guy is a man of the people. He's a man of Baltimore, and he wants people's lives to be better. He cares about the people, and especially the people who tend to not be cared about in politics. And that's why this guy won 2 times in a row. The first time a mayor's been reelected in Baltimore in 2 decades. And if you think the vote 60%, 50, won, you would be very wrong. I'm in the way, but watch this shit, bro. 82%. This guy got 82% of the vote. Think about how much that is. Think about how crazy that is. 82%. The people of Baltimore loved this guy. Why? What did he do? Well, if you look at it, crime, specifically homicides and shootings, down 60%. Crime generally is down. He got to the root of the problems. He realized people in homes are less likely to commit crimes. And he fixed that problem. He turned poor neighborhoods into communities. He turned vacant homes into single family homes. He made Baltimore feel like a safer city than it was before. And Baltimore is moving towards one of the safer cities in the United States. And you guys know the stereotypes behind Baltimore. That is impressive. So, what do these two have in common here? Okay, you might think maybe not a lot, but they both have rallied more ethnic underrepresented people and the youth. And they've done this through ways of making a focus on youth, on younger people, on people who feel, why should I care about politics? It doesn't matter to me. He's made these people feel cared about. They strive for change. They don't strive to keep the status quo. They realize trade-offs need to happen, and they create change. We've talked about what Brandon Scott has done already. Mamdani balanced the budget already, and I think that that's really awesome, and I want to make a video on that, so subscribe if that's something you want to see. But anyway, Mamdani has also made childcare more affordable, and he's done many other things. The crime rate is currently down in New York. He's done so many things to make living in New York better for the youth. This is something the youth want to see. This is why the youth are going to go out and vote, is because they see that their vote matters. That when you have a movement, the movement Mamdani created made young people want to vote. Okay? When you see Donald Trump, what is he, 80 years old? You want to vote for this guy? Well, he's a little old. Who's the other candidate? Oh, it's Joe Biden, also 80 years old. Why, as a young person, would you go, let me see which 80-year-old millionaire I'd rather vote for, when you're like living paycheck to paycheck in a neighborhood filled with crime? You don't care. It doesn't matter. It's a literal waste of time. That's why the youth don't vote. When you're voting between literal trash versus garbage, it doesn't matter. Okay? Who do you want running your country? Trash or do you want garbage? Like, there's no difference at all. Okay? And that's why the youth don't vote. The youth want to vote. Okay? The youth clearly want to vote. When you have people like Mamdani or Brandon Scott, the youth go out there and vote. They've made the messaging clear, and they've made the youth the focus. There was surveys done, and only 4% of youth said they were unwilling to vote. They want to vote. They want to go out there and vote. But why should they? Why should they spend time when it doesn't matter? When most youth get all their news from social media, they're not going to watch a 3-minute long video on policy posted by the Republicans or the Democrats or the conservatives or the liberals. They want clear, easy messaging. And that's what these people have done. That's what people like Mamdani, that's how he captured the youth vote. That's how he won his election. To blame the youth for not voting is useless. It's not the youth's fault. It's the system's fault for making the youth feel like they don't matter. Mamdani was different. He was exciting. He was energetic, and he had a focus on the youth and on affordability. People voted, the youth voted because they realized, oh my God, I like this guy. This guy, I want him to be my mayor. They're not choosing between, well, I don't care who it is because it doesn't matter. They were like, this matters. This matters to me. This is important to me. And this is relevant to me. So I think it's important to think maybe the youth want to vote. Maybe the trend of the youth voting going down isn't because the youth are privileged or because they don't realize the power of voting. Maybe we should look at the problem. Maybe we should look at, okay, why don't the youth vote? And realize, okay, the youth aren't going to vote for old people. They want to see young people. Gen Z and millennials are the biggest voting bloc currently right now. All the old boomers are dying, okay? And now us young people control the vote. And it's important that we realize that and we use that to our advantage because old people are voting at a much higher rate than young people. But at the same time, when you are voting between two old candidates that don't care about the young people, why should they vote? Who cares, right? Doesn't matter. So I think it's important not to blame the young people, not to blame the generations who aren't voting, but it's instead look at what are the times where the youth are voting? Like, why are the youth excited to vote for Mamdani, but not in the federal election? And so I think I'll leave you with the idea that the youth do want to vote and that the youth do want to see change in the world and that they're not useless. They're not under like informed and they couldn't care less. It's that they don't feel important and they feel like they don't matter. And someone like Mamdani, he captured this vote because he made the youth feel like they mattered. And so with that, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.